GPO is proving to be a bit of a disruptor in the optics world. The initials stand for German Precision Optics, a German company run by former employees of several of the big Euro companies. They design their own scopes in Germany. However, the scopes are made in different Asian factories where GPO has a large amount of control and in some cases degrees of ownership. Final quality control is done back in Germany and it seems to work. The quality is good, the optics are excellent and the prices are attractive. The Centuri range covers the middle of GPO's lineup, sitting in the sweet spot for price and features. They're aimed at hunters and long-range shooters with a hint of tactical design thrown in. And GPO seems to have nailed it, creating scopes that are practical, precise and with all the essential inclusions. The design and operation of the basic functions are the same across the board for the Centuries. The reticle adjustments in all of these GPO scopes were bang on through the test, and shooting the square produced exactly the sort of result you want to see. All the turret types have resettable zero stops and they returned to zero perfectly. The GPOs were also utterly dependable when using the turrets to adjust point of impact for different ranges during a shoot. The turret styles, in all but the most modest of them, the 3 to 12 by 44, are designed with long-range shooting in mind, with 90, 100 or 110 MOA of elevation available depending on the model. That translates to about 2.6 to 3.1 metres of elevation at 100 metres, or a potential zero more than 2 kilometres away with the right cartridge. The ones with exposed turrets turn 2 full revolutions from your zero, and a pop-up indicator gives evidence of when you've gone around more than once. The windage turrets have 1 rotation available. For a price, you can order a customised turret to match your ballistics from an American company called Kenton Industries, but I haven't looked into this. So they're great long-range sights, and remember that long range is relative to your bullet's trajectory, so it might be somewhere out beyond 2,000 metres, or it might be a subsonic round that you're only lobbing 100 metres to reach its target, but the concept is the same. And at the same time, that's helped by the parallax, which can be adjusted right down to less than 10 metres and all the way out to infinity. It's absolutely perfect for shooting vermin at close ranges with rimfires and air rifles, as well as long centerfire shots. The parallax focus is easy to dial quickly and the depth of field provided by the Centuries is impressively deep, meaning that if you don't need pinpoint accuracy for a shot, you can get the adjustment close enough, the view will be clear enough and you'll still be able to aim perfectly. Which brings up the optical qualities of the Centuries. They have what's called double HD lenses, which basically means laminated high definition glass. GPO claims it's the equal of anything from the best optics makers in Europe. I can't quantify that claim unfortunately, but I can verify that the view through all of these scopes is very, very good. The level of detail that they pick up in fading light or deep shadows is really helpful. They resist glare and internal flaring to a very high degree when the sun is behind your target, and the picture is sharp almost to the edges of the whole thing and absolutely pin sharp everywhere else. I've looked through scopes that produce stronger colours than these, but when light's challenging, especially strong light entering the objective, the GPOs don't get exaggerated or false colours or coloured glare. The Centuri scopes provide more proof to me that optics suffer from the law of diminishing returns. Anything more expensive won't give you that much improvement in any practical sense. The optical quality here is not just really good, it's really well priced. Now, among the revisions that the Centuri range brings in is new reticles. Most of the scopes I tested have the wonderfully open G4i reticle. Simple, uncluttered, easy to aim with, and especially when you add a subtle amount of illumination to the centre of the crosshairs to really focus your attention. There's also the MOA reticle, which has MOA scaled hash marks going 10 MOA wide for windage and 40 MOA down the bottom wire for elevation. Being a second plane reticle, the marks are accurate when you wind it to full magnification. It's a great choice for being able to make quick on-the-fly aiming adjustments without having to divert your attention to adjust the turrets instead. The MRAD reticle in the compact 4 to 16 is similar but obviously graduated in mils. This is the only one mounted in the first focal plane, so its measurements remain constant throughout magnification. The illumination in all of them is controlled on a rheostat, which means you get continually varying brightness rather than stepped increases. It has an auto-off function that'll prolong battery life if you forget to switch it off. If you count all the sizes and reticle combinations in the Centuri range, There are 13 models available. The easiest way to make sense of them is to start by looking at the two different erector ratios. The Centuri 4x or 4 times with a 4-fold zoom ratio and the Centuri 6 times with a 6-fold zoom ratio. The 4 times models have magnification ranges of 3 to 12 and 4 to 16 and only come with 44mm objectives. You can get them in super compact form or with a regular body length. The 6 times models are the 2.5 to 15 and 3 to 18 with choices of 44mm objectives or 50s. Now we'll start with the nice compact 3 to 12 by 44, which I have a fondness for two main reasons. It's the most affordable of the Centuri series, and its 3 to 12 times magnification is what I consider to be an ideal choice for a stalking rifle. It provides a short range view that's wide enough for almost any situation, and its full zoom 12 times magnification is ample for the vast majority of shots that a typical Aussie hunter will take. In other words, this scope does almost everything a hunter needs without costing as much as the others. Reflecting its role, it has turrets protected by caps and only one rotation of elevation or 14 MOA, which should be heaps in this context. It's also, as the name suggests, compact at about 25 centimetres long and light enough at 550 grams. It'll be at home on just about any rifle. As 3 to 12 scopes go, this one is rare in having parallax adjustment, and you do see the benefits of it, both right up close and out beyond 300 metres or so. Fixed parallax at 100 metres is fine up to a point, but in other 3 to 12s I've tested, I've just accepted the fact that there will be a small amount of compromise in image clarity and potentially accuracy because of it. This Centuri makes me rethink my acceptance of that because it was definitely useful. The Centuri 4 times super compact 4 to 16 by 44 is a bit different from the rest in that it's the only one with a first focal plane reticle and milliradian adjustments. You get a choice of 2 reticles with holdover and windage marks along the crosshairs, one slightly more tactical in layout than the milled-up type I had here. Neither reticle has a cascading tree of marks to wade through, keeping it nice and simple. Its base 4 times magnification makes it slightly less useful than the 3 to 12 by compact at close range, but with this reticle setup, it's naturally more suitable for longer shots anyway. And the top end of 16 times means you really can reach out a long way to where the bullet's dropping fast and still dial in to make a deadly or point scoring hit. For roughly the same money as the 4 to 16 times compact, this Centuri is 9 centimetres longer and 100 grams heavier with the same magnification. So why would you? Well, bigger is definitely better in measurable ways. The longer tube gives you more latitude for mounting this scope. Its objective will hang down below the front of a rail, something you can't do with the shorties, which have to be mounted higher on the rail. And the bigger scope has about 15mm more eye relief than either of the 2 compact ones for a total of 80mm. Another advantage not only in mounting it, but also on heavy kicking rifles. This scope is a far better fit on a long action rifle like this Sauer in 9.3 by 62, partly because it's much easier to mount low with the correct eye alignment. Having said that, for heavy calibers, you might want to look at the Centuri 6 times models, which have more eye relief again. This scope is sometimes sold a bit more cheaply than the other large-bodied Centuries, which will clearly suit some people's budgets that much better. The main compromise is that it has the smaller 4 times erector ratio, the same as the little compact scopes. Still, put this on any accurate rifle in a caliber that carries sufficient energy to distant targets, and you'll not only be set up for your typical 1 to 200 metre shots, you can also stretch it out to say 400 or 500 metres, maybe more if you're up to it, and bag a stag. Then we've got the Centuri 6 times 3 to 18 by 50. I reckon this scope is better value than the 4 to 16 by 44 because while it's a few dollars more, if at all, some retailers price them the same, you can get better close range potential from the 3 times magnification and reach further with its 18 times top end. It has a bigger objective lens too for better low light performance. It's a lot of scope for $1,100 or less in some shops. But there is no free lunch. It's the heaviest Centuri, though not by much compared with other full-size models, and I could probably live with that, especially on a long-range or varmint rifle where weight isn't the issue, but pinpoint accuracy and long range is. You get a choice of G4 or MOA reticle. Mine had the G4, but in this varminting outfit, I'd be inclined to go for the hash-marked MOA crosshairs. Now I've saved what I reckon are the best for last, the pair of 2.5 to 15 times GPOs. One has a sleeker 44mm objective lens and the other has a brighter 50mm objective lens with a small weight penalty to go with it. I'd take the large one almost every time because I've so often taken shots in those last few moments of light when it's critical to get the shot now and every bit of light counts. You might lean towards a slimmer scope, which is also 3.5 centimetres shorter and about 45 grams lighter, up to you entirely. With the wide field of view and resultant quicker target acquisition at the minimum 2.5 times magnification, these scopes will serve you well in close country, say sandbar stalking in the thick stuff or flushing pigs from lignum. Yet it'll also stretch out hundreds of metres at up to 15 times. In my book, except with an even bigger erector ratio, you won't find a much more versatile rifle scope than these. Throw in a massive elevation adjustment, huge parallax variation, very generous eye relief, and you really can't go wrong putting either of these two on just about any hunting rifle. Now maybe that's just me and you have a different opinion. Whatever the case, if you reckon the specs and style of any one of these GPO Centuries is up your alley, I have no hesitation recommending it to you. They are all not a lot of money, very well spent.